Well, hello, welcome to the Chair with James. We are going to preview the Super Wildcard Weekend in the NFL playoffs here for 2020-2021 season. Well, obviously we got to start with the byes that both conferences get this year, with Kansas City getting the bye in the AFC and Green Bay getting it in the NFC. Now the NFL added another wild card spot to make a bye happen possible for the first seed, and that's how we got the Super Wild Card Weekend. I hope they're fun games. I hope they're worth, for the people that watch all of it. It's worth both Saturday and Sunday, having three games like a normal Sunday, I guess. But playoff time, you hope it's worth the drama, the passion, whatever it takes to get your team in and win. And obviously, as you can see, my team behind me, they didn't get in. I don't know when they ever will again, but there's some newcomers not newcomers, but teams that haven't made the playoffs in a while that got in. You could look at Washington, Chicago, and breaking their 18-year drought was the Cleveland Browns. So obviously, a very big deal to those fans out there on during that game. That's going to be very great for those fans to experience playoff football again, despite the issues that they're going to have. Speaking about the Cleveland Browns, there are a tremendous amount of cases or precaution with the virus going around the facility and the players with the Cleveland Browns. But let's start with Saturday's action. And that is, of course, the Buffalo Bills hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Bills obviously winning their division and the Colts sneaking in. You could say this game could go any way, but if you judge by history, you say, man, Phillip Rivers, he always does really bad in the playoffs, other from 2000, 7 or 8, where he played injured, but he got the Chargers to the AFC Championship game. With the Bills, you have Josh Allen, who experienced one playoff game last year and lost. But this time, he's got Stephon Diggs, who's been awesome. A pair of good running backs with Moss and Singletary. Great defense. With the Colts, you have a great defense as well. Great running backs. Solid receivers. So this could be a very evenly matchup, but it's going to sound redundant, but the team that makes the most mistakes will lose, of course, duh. So, with that being said, you can look at Phillip Rivers and say, okay, if he throws a bad ball, or if he fumbles, or if he tries to run, what's going to happen? So that's very tough to figure out there, to what's going to happen for this game. Playing in Orchard Park, New York, Bills Stadium. They're allowing fans to be there. I think 6,000 fans, to be exact. So that's a great thing. Obviously, to have some people there and some noise. That's not computer made. Anyway, I think I'll pick the Bills with that. think that they have enough to get over beating the Colts. I really do. Next game, the LA Rams, who just snuck in the playoffs, face the Seahawks in Seattle at Lumen Field. It's also Saturday tomorrow. Like I said on a guy's show earlier tonight, I said, it all depends which one of these teams show up well and stays on the field on offense or gets off the field on defense. Literally, who scores the most points. Literally, who makes the most stops. And right now, I don't even know which one. You could just judge based on the last time they met in Seattle and Seahawks won. Jared Goff, game time decision, but he'll probably not play with the broken thumb. That would be amazing to see him play, but John Warford, he showed his worth week 17 against Arizona last Sunday. But to go in a playoff game like that, and maybe to have Cooper Kupp back would be important for the Rams. I think Seattle barely takes this game just based on not having Goff, and then I want to see Russell Wilson and Chris Carson do better. That Ramsey against Metcalf matchup is just amazing. You're going to see that. Honestly, you're going to see a good matchup with that receiver cornerback matchup. That would be something to look forward to. But I think the Seahawks pull it off. Put pressure on Warford to make bad decisions, to fumble, to throw it away, or throw picks. But it might come down to a field goal. It might come down to a field goal for the Seahawks to win it. If it's a low-scoring game, like 15-12 or something like that, 16-13, I can see Jason Myers kicking it in for the Seahawks. Next game, Buccaneers at Washington. Washington winning their division at 6-10. Hey, any way you can get in, get in. The Buccaneers winning the first wild card, 4 versus 5 matchup. I think Tampa Bay easily wins. My hope is that Mike Evans plays in this playoff game. It'll be his first ever, and he's been there almost a decade. So he's been there through the fertility. And then they get Brady, and they get Gronk, they get Arians. They're so much better now. And I just hope he's there to play and contribute. I think the only way Washington wins, and Smith is, I don't know if he'll play, but Heineke will come in and play. The only way Washington wins is if their defense plays just standout defense. If they get stops, if they get picks, fumbles, they get to Brady and frustrate him, that's the only way. There's a lot of pressure on both teams, but the pressure on Brady to get back to the Super Bowl and win it is immense because, they'll say, hey, you can't do it without Belichick. You can't do it without the Patriot way. And he's trying to show that tomorrow, that he can do it. But he's got a few more obstacles to go even after. So that would be interesting to see. On Sunday, AFC wildcard matchup, Baltimore goes to Tennessee. Last year, these two played in the wildcard round as well, I believe, or divisional round, I can't remember. But Tennessee, in a way, pulled off an upset in Baltimore and showed that Lamar Jackson cannot win in the postseason yet. But that was a great Tennessee defense. This year's defense has been awful. Just one of the worst, from the absolute one of the best to the absolute worst. One of the worst in the league, honestly. If Tennessee can get any stops, I think that'll help them win. But you're going to have a dosage of Henry. You're going to have Tannehill be throwing to Brown and, oh gosh, the other receiver's name, Davis. This is going to be interesting to see how this game goes, because if Lamar and his guys can get going and score a lot of points and use the running tool, Ravens can pull off the upset. I think I'll go with Tennessee, but it should be a real close game because we don't know which Raven team will show up and which Titan defense will show up. You know the offense will be there for both teams, but will Tennessee give it up? But I don't think they will. I'm going to go with Tennessee. Next game is Bears at Saints. The Bears are just in because the Cardinals or anybody else couldn't get in. The Saints, Alvin Kamara, he had the COVID, but it looks like he'll be on track to play, as he said. Even if he didn't play, I think I would still pick the Saints. Mitchell Trubisky, he's just trying to prove that he can play in the league, and he has proved it the last couple of weeks in getting in the playoffs. And I think even Bears fans said, hey, we don't want you and we don't want Coach Matt Nagy with the Bears anymore. But guess what? They got in the playoffs, and now you're stuck with him. With them both, I should say. So, at least you got in the playoffs, but man, you're going to have another year of Nagy and Trubisky and another year of questions. I know I'm writing off the Bears pretty easily, but that's what I think. I think the Saints will easily win. Nice dosage of Kamara, and then I think it was Michael Thomas game time decision. I think they still win without him in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints for sure. Last game on the wildcard weekend is a really big one, honestly. You have the Browns and the Steelers. And thinking to myself, Browns have waited 18 years to get on this national stage of the playoffs. They barely get in. When it looked like, oh crap, maybe we won't, after losing to the Jets. We get in, and we remember the playoffs. The last time we were in the playoffs, we played the Steelers in Pittsburgh. And guess what? They do it again. That was 2003, and this is, 2021. And they have the Steelers again. This time, COVID, like I mentioned earlier in the show, has hit the Browns and their facility. And they'll be without head coach Kevin Stefanski, tight end coach, and another coach as well. And then 9 players are out, including cornerback Denzel Ward. And he's a big part of the defense. And they also have a couple safeties out, a couple linemen out. So it's a very big deal. And Malcolm Smith, the hero linebacker with the Seahawks back in 2013. All those guys out. A lot of people are still giving the Browns a chance. And I hope they win. I'm not going to be lying to you. That would be a great story. No, I'm not going to pick against the Steelers. I think the Steelers will win. Hopefully it's a very close game. Hopefully those losses that the Browns will have will not affect them too much. That Baker Mayfield will have a good game. I mean, they played Week 17, but that was without Ben. That was without a lot of starters for the Steelers. So that's all I can hope for, is that the Browns make it a game. Unless, good guy Isaiah mentioned that from the MI6 Sports Network, I think it was. And this is going to college. Dabo Swinney was talking trash about Ohio State, and look what happened. Ohio State beat Clemson. Now Juju Smith-Schuster's no rookie when it comes to trash talk and doing things upsetting people. Remember, he had the TikTok dances on logos at midfield of opponents, and it seemed like every time he would do that, the Steelers would go out and lose, at least later in the season. Remember, they got upset by the Bengals. He got beat by the Bills, and he stopped doing that. But he said this week, the Browns are the Browns. The Browns are the Browns. And that just gives Cleveland more bulletin board material, motivation, and go whoop ass. Again, just because of what Juju said, and I know he's from USC, but he's had a bad year when it comes to talking. He shouldn't talk at all. Could you imagine if they made the Super Bowl and they were playing, whoever, and he talked about their best player, and the best player absolutely drills the Steelers in the Super Bowl? Man, I'd be horrible. I would be mad at him if I was a Steeler teammate. So I'm going to go with the Steelers, but who knows what will happen. That's what's fun about these playoffs here, 2020, 2021 playoffs. The road to Tampa, where the Super Bowl is going to be, it goes through Kansas City and it goes through Green Bay. And if my predictions are right, we go to the AFC. It's going to be Steelers against the Bills, and then Titans against the Chiefs for the divisional round. And then in the NFC, it would be Seattle and the Saints, and then Tampa against Green Bay for that divisional round in Green Bay. So we'll see what happens. If I'm right, we'll see. But should be fun. A whole weekend of football, 3 games each day. Can't wait. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. And just enjoy yourselves at home and watch whatever you can. Hopefully there's no blowouts, but maybe there'll be a couple in store. So take care. See you later.